Don't excite yourself too much. It's just a fake.
What did you say?
I said, don't excite yourself too much. It's just a fake.
Oh, who's the fake?
Those grapplers. The only square thing about them is the ring.
Oh, them.
They're a symbol of the whole town, pretending to fight, love, weep, and laugh all the time, and they're phonies, all of them.
More than anything, persistence and following your initial gut was the big lesson out of this, you know. It was tough to get the film made with Mickey Rourke, and now that's kind of the best thing about the film. And so, you know, you got to follow your initial instincts about it, and trying to understand how something is going to be received, you can never ever tell. And that's the other lesson, you can never ever tell how a film's going to come out.
When it's your definite choice, it's your best choice. When you know for certain that this is the person you want in your movie, and this is all the money you can get to make it that way, at some point you got to just say, okay, let's do it, you know, rather than continue to chase more money, you know, when every door in town is getting shut in your face. The Wrestler started, I would say, about 5 years ago. After we did Requiem, Darren and I were both out in LA, and he was getting ready to leave to go shoot The Fountain. And he came to me and said, I want to do a film about a professional wrestler, and I want you to help me develop it. So we couldn't decide who this wrestler was, what he was about, or anything like that. And we did some research, and I read some books of wrestlers, started going to some shows. And the one thing we realized is that, you know, we couldn't set this world in mainstream wrestling. There's just too many licensing issues, too many control issues, and so we had to figure out where to set the story.
Then we started to think of it as a period piece before Vince McMahon had organized all the territories into one. But we realized it was going to be a low-budget film, so that wasn't a possibility. So me and Scott started to go to these independent shows that exist all over the country. And one of the things that really fascinated us was, you know, these older guys, these people that were our heroes when we were kids, you know. Guys who used to sell at Madison Square Garden in the LA Forum, 20,000, 50,000 people were now working for $500, you know, a night, you know, in front of 200 people on a good night.
And here they are still wrestling. You'd think that they, you know, were retired, that they were sitting on boatloads of money, you know, like other athletes. And when we dug a little deeper and realized that these guys are wrestling for, you know, killing themselves for $100 a night in front of 200 people. And most of them, I mean, I won't say all of them, but most of them are broke and they have no health insurance, they've got no retirement, they've got no benefits, you know, and they're just doing this to just stay alive.
I was sort of, like most people have been with the wrestler, I was quite taken aback by it because it's so different from anything else Darren had done, you know. I mean, and particularly from a music standpoint, and I was thinking about it, you know, the three films that we've done so far have been these sort of like, you know, mind-fuck, head-trip, psychedelic freakouts, really, you know, and The Wrestler was, you know, it couldn't have been further from that if it tried.
Well, The Wrestler shot for 35 days. We started at the end of January and went into basically the mid-March. A big part of how we organized the shoot days was keeping the weekends open in order to schedule our wrestling matches, because all the wrestling matches in the film were actual events. So most of the schedule was sort of broken up. Every other weekend or so, we'd have a real live event where we'd stage actual matches with real wrestlers, and in between have the matches with Mickey. And then, so those were our Friday and Saturday nights often, and then during the week we'd shoot the other scenes.
I really wanted to be open to what was happening in the moment. It was the first time I've done it that way, and it was exciting and fun. And it really worked for the project.
Action! Which one of you girls woke me up?
It was by the seat of our pants the whole time, because we had 37 locations in 37 days. Mickey's trailer was in this trailer park, which was, Darren wanted grass, first of all. He wanted, he didn't want it to be this paved, nice thing with street signs. We found this one little plot of grass. They had an empty trailer. There was about 5 of them. I ended up crawling into a couple that were boarded up, but they were just destroyed. And then we found this one, the one that we used, which was perfect, and we dragged it over to this plot of land and set it down and did the plumbing and the thing and just cleaned it and worked on it for, probably a good month.
The time approaches that will, with due decision, make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. So we're going to find out in a minute.
We didn't know how it was going to work with the, with the live crowd and live stunts. It was, it was dangerous. It was a real risk.
Are you ready for WXW?
If you're working with really great actors, you can't ever know what they're going to do. You want them to do, what they do best, which is, surprise you. And that's always the best part. And, I got that all the time from Mickey and Marissa and Evan. They were all very, very inventive. They all brought a lot of color to their roles. And I think that was, bringing, casting the right people.
That was it. He was just. So we just have to figure out how to get him to Grand Jam. Yeah. That's the Grand Jam tomorrow, yeah.
We are in Jersey City at the Acme supermarket. You sure we're in Jersey City?
No, we're in Jersey City, buddy. Yeah. All right, stop trying to rewrite shit.
Here at Acme with our extreme value buy of the week. This week, get a great deal on Progresso microwave soup bowls. Get 2 for just $5 with your super card this week at Acme. How's that for extreme savings?
Darren made a conscious decision on this film, unlike his other films, not to storyboard, and to just be open, along with Maurice and everybody else in the set, to whatever the circumstances were and whatever was going to happen in these real-world scenarios that he had set up. And storyboarding would limit the options and the openness to whatever was going to happen, whatever Mickey came up with, or whatever the other people around who weren't actors came up with. We just needed to always have that freedom and for people to be prepared for everything. The deli sequences were all real people. I mean, there were actors and then there were real people. There was always a mix.
Okay, now we're going to keep going. Let's do the fried chicken. Come on in. We need to clear all of our crew out there. Clear out, clear out.
This? Where's it going? To the boiler? We shooting now? Yep. Let's do it.
We saw Hulk Hogan was a bad guy. That's how long ago it was. And he was fighting Tony Atlas, which you took a picture of me with Tony Atlas.
Right.
Remember that big guy? And Hulk Hogan picked up Tony Atlas to drop him on the top rope on his balls, and he missed. And then Tony Atlas pulled down Hulk Hogan's tights, showed his butt, and then picked him up over his head. Tony Atlas, huge guy, and dropped him on his balls. And the place went crazy.
And Darren said, Dad, you said it was phony. Is this phony? And 20,000 people turned around.
Not 20,000. The woman in front of us stood and said,
yeah, a
screamed at
people.
this is a grown lady. I remember screamed at you. This isn't fake.
Robin, Randy.
It was a different time in wrestling.
Hey.
Back onto your ones.
That's how I'm going to direct you from now on. My head and your shoulders. Move! Come on, move! Hairnet! Hairnet!
That was bad. I look so confused. This is nothing like documentary filmmaking. Absolutely nothing.
Well, this is life, right? This is our life.
No, this is not life. This is constructed life.
Just doing a documentary on ties.
Oh, that's an exciting process.
Because basically he's cutting, and he's going to go like this on this side, and then we're going to cut on that to like here, and the blood's going to spray out, and we're going to come up on him, and he's going to have the prosthetic on, and we'll have the blood there. But the thing I'm nervous about is that the spray is aerated and not like a stream.
Yeah, you want it to be like a mist.
Yeah, like a mist. No, actually, if you're this is hold on. Your right thumb is your right thumb. So go. Let's see. Yeah, go like that. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's it.
And
yeah, that's it. That's it.
Randy, what's wrong? Randy, what's wrong? Shit, we have to call.
Get away from me, you little prick!
We have to call 911.
I'll take this fucking house. Take it up
Just
your ass.
fucking. There's customers here, man.
I'll wipe my ass with it, you little. I quit, you little cocksucker. You want some fucking cheese, lady? Here. Here, have some cheese. I quit. I'm out of here. See you later, good looking.
Good. Okay, good. See, hold it up.
Go.
Go.
It's not. Oh.
The first scene I did, it was a really intense scene. You know, it's when Mickey comes to my house, and Darren came up to me and said, you know, we're not even going to, you're not going to say hi to Mickey, we're not going to rehearse, just walk out the door, we're going to shoot it. And I said, okay. And said, thank God I know my lines. And we just went in and did it. And I like working like that. You know, things happen by mistake, and they end up being incredible and just great little jewels that you capture on film. And so there was a lot of improv, you know, but I was warned that you might never know what's coming at you.
No, there's two things. There's two beats.
She says, what do you want? What do you want from me?
Oh, is it like, fuck you, what do you want from me?
No, she says, you're such an asshole.
Yeah.
And then she kind of says, what do you want? What do you want from me?
You're such an asshole. There's a pause. What do you want from me?
She said, yes, basically.
You're such an asshole.
And then she starts to walk.
And she said that.
What do you want from me?
This asshole, and what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Hey, Stephanie. How you doing?
What do you want?
I have to talk to you.
I can't talk right now.
No, I really need to talk to you.
I gotta go to school.
You going to school?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Listen, something happened. I had a heart attack. And I just thought I should tell you.
You're such an asshole.
You have to feel safe to be able to go to those places. So usually my best takes are the first ones where I'm just fresh and I let everything out. And Darren pushes you in the right way. And I appreciate when directors, push me to my limit and, will push me till I have nothing left. And actually for the first time on this film, the best takes were usually, the last ones where Darren will come up to you and say, just forget everything, just do it. And that's what I love, I don't want to rehearse it over and over because it gets stale. I like it to just be, real, and that's what he captures so well, so.
I got a lot of stuff in my head, and I went out and had some drinks, and then I had a few more, and then I had a few more, and I just spaced.
You know what? That's fucking tough shit.
Why do I do this to you? Why do I always do this to you?
You do it to me because you're a fuck up. You are a living, breathing fuck up.
You get the estranged daughter, and then you get the stripper. Superficially, those are sort of cliched elements, but the reality is that having met with and talked to enough of these guys, most of them have estranged daughters. Most of them have broken relationships with just because they've always put their careers first. Very few of them have happy, stable family lives, and a lot of them really, really love going to strip clubs. So the decision to have the two main relationships we see in the movie for him are the stripper and the estranged daughter. Often things become cliches because they're actually true, and that is actually true. These guys, they show up a few hours before a match, they got a few hours to kill, they're hungry, they go to the strip club, hit the buffet, and get a few lap dances.
Back memories of Montreal, huh? I know, it really does.
She had to walk this line about the real world and the fantasy world. Basically, her character was a mentor to Mickey's character, someone who was aware that there was a line between, what was happening in the real world and the fake world. And she really, really kind of did it in a very, almost like a drunken tightrope walker, and because she didn't know which way she was going to fall, and I think that made the performance dynamic. She was a stripper. There was no way to escape it because wrestlers, when they're done with their matches in real life, that's what they do. They go to the strip club to spend their money. But B, the similarities between how a stripper works with her body and how a wrestler works with his body are very similar. They're both up on stage. They both create a fantasy for the audience. They both have fake names. Age is their great enemy. And so the parallels were really interesting.
Mickey is all those things I just said. He's kind, he's compassionate, he's warm, he wears his heart on his sleeve, he's a friend, and he's a sympathetic guy, but he's still Mickey. He's still very strong-willed, he's still very determined, he's still very opinionated, and he's not the kind of guy that's going to back down. So, and that's part of what you respect and like about him. He's passionate in his convictions, and when he knows that he wants something, or he knows that he doesn't want something, or someone wrongs him or something like that, he's gonna stand up for what he wants. He's gonna stand up for what he believes in, and there's nothing wrong with that,
Hi, this is Stephanie. You know what to do.
Hey, it's me. I know you don't want to hear my voice, and I swear to God, I'll never call you again. I'm just so tired of breaking your heart and letting you down and not keeping my promises to you. It won't ever happen again. I love you so much, Stephanie, and you've given me so many chances I don't deserve. You know what? I just deserve to be alone. You just know that your daddy loves you.
As difficult as it was at times, I think he always believed in it. And I think that's what kept him around and kept him hungry and kept him passionate about the material. And I think he always believed in Darren, and I think he always believed in what Darren was getting out of him, you know, as far as the performance goes. You know, and yeah, there were a lot of grumblings on set, and there were hard days. I mean, look, we're shooting in you know, in the dead of winter in the middle of Jersey, and you know, we don't even have, you know, production trailers. You know what I mean? I mean, you were there. I mean, it was as bare bone, and it's, you know, 0 degrees outside, and you know, Mickey's on take number 12, and he thinks he nailed it on take number 4. And there's many of those difficult moments we had on set. I think we had a lot of fun moments on set.
Good, check the gate. Where you cut?
Mickey's, you know, Mickey's tough. You know, he's no walk in the park, and I think, you know, to make him really, really do his work, you got to really push him. You know, he's like one of those guys in high school who completely coasted through and got B's and did absolutely no work, you know, because he's so, in Mickey's case, so talented that he doesn't need to do the work. He can put his feet up on the desk and just sort of coast through his roles. And I think, but because he is so talented, if you kind of push him or inspire him or challenge him, the work just gets richer and richer the more you do that.
Here we go. One more. Just like that. Okay, here we go. You got it? You got it. Okay, you got it. Pull it together. Here, breath. And action. Go. 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 You got it. You got it. Whoa. Breath. Breath.
For our final contest, and ladies and gentlemen, this contest will be decided under ultra-violent rules.
So, camera follows Mickey out behind him. There's a second camera hiding behind there. We follow Mickey around, all the way around, and the second camera, as we're over here, sneaks around to back and gets into the ring and hides over here. We take Mickey around the ring, say hello to his fans all the way. This camera comes over to the corner here and lets him go up. And then that camera picks him up. Maurice jumps down. We have him walk around and eventually sit down with Dylan. We practice it with Dylan. And then we cut into, we get low and we find a cut point there for the first slap. When Mickey first became the Ram was when we did the CZW entrance and he came out. I was backstage and in front of that crowd, that crazy, you know, Philly crowd, my heart was racing so bad. I had no idea what they were going to do. And Mickey just came out, the crowd went crazy, and he just transformed into the Ram. The entire film's handheld, and I kind of call it a proactive documentary style. Instead of like a reactive documentary, like a real documentary where you react to something, we knew what the character was going to do, so we were a little bit ahead of them, you know. Yet, you know, with Mickey, you never really fully know what he's going to do, and you have to be ready to roll with that. But, you know, we knew basically his intention, so we were able to sort of kind of tango and dance with him.
What's the plan? What do you want to do tonight?
I can do anything you need me to, sir. I don't look good, but I feel good.
What are you doing right now?
I'm putting staples in Necro's head.
I was on a Mac, on a MacBook Pro with a FireWire drive and a monitor and some grilled fish and a desk, and that's it. No help.
That was it.
No love.
Come on.
Plenty of love. Nothing but love. Yeah, we cut it on Media Composer on Avid. On a laptop, they provided us with software that we needed, and we cut it in HD, and it was great. It was all we needed.
How did you do this with so little money?
Well, in pre-production, at one point we robbed a bank. Do it with a little money. It's a group effort. I mean, it starts with the director being on board with a program for. Oh, this is so boring. I'm boring myself.
Well, that was quick.
You can make any movie for any amount of money. I mean, that's the easy answer. And we had to devise a plan that would work with the money we had, and we devised one and we stuck to it.
I've had a few different wrestling names in my brief 10-year career, and right now the one that seems to be paying the bills is Necro Butcher.
How'd you get started in wrestling?
In wrestling?
Yeah.
By accident. I'm exchanging emails with real wrestlers, and they said I should come up and try out with them. Now, they just wanted to beat me up and take my money, and I even knew that. But I said, you know what, it'll be cool. Like, I'll go up there and they'll kick the shit out of me and take my $500, but I'll have some memories of when I got in the ring and they hit me and slapped me and kicked me and bit me and gouged me and pulled my arms and legs all different kind of crazy ways for 2 or 3 hours. And at the end of the day, they said, are you coming back next week, Dylan? Yeah, man, it's lucky break after lucky break, like what I'm doing right now. Like, I just stumble into some shit. I have never, ever, ever, in all my silly years of doing this crap, I ain't never jumped on a ladder before.
But as you get punched, keep your head up. Now come down. Now bring your head down. Yeah. And then you go off. And action!
Like I said, I slipped and tripped and fell into a movie. So when all this shit like this keeps happening, man, it's kind of hard to say, I think I want to get a real job. I think that every day, just for a few seconds.
You can take a bump, which is just a bump in the ring, which you just hit the mat, or you might take a big bump, which might be considered off the top rope, or a big bump outside the ring onto the concrete. Bump is hitting the ground. A hammerlock and a full Nelson. I mean, we use terms from basic grappling to funny names like ghetto blasters and the top wrist locks and side headlocks and suplexes. Bring it to the ring and work with it.
The very first thing we learn in the wrestling school is how to fall down, because it's the most important thing. I mean, you can do whatever move you want if you don't fall down correctly. So once you learn to fall down, I mean, the rest is easy. It really is. I mean, it seems complicated, but to throw yourself to the ground knowing that it's gonna hurt, the biggest bit of advice I could give is go to a wrestling school, a quality wrestling school, because if you don't learn to do it correctly, you will get hurt. It's really important. It's just like any education, if you go to a better school. Perfect example. Kid went to our school. He wanted to try a moonsault, which is a backflip off the top rope. I said to this kid, don't do the move. Don't do the move. He does the move, breaks his neck. So there you go.
Wrestling it's a great outlet. It's, I've always been a camera hog, and I always like showing off in front of people, and I always like doing stuff, and this is a perfect outlet for it. You can go out, have a good time, act like a complete lunatic. You can have a complete alter ego if you want. I mean, it's a great sport. It's a lot of fun.
Before a hardcore match, they'll go to the Dollar Tree store and pick up a bunch of cake pans and bug spray and extension cords and just all this stuff they can kill each other with.
The other way. Shit, I guess we're gonna take this. Can't leave the flag on the floor. No.
But this is basically what we finished with. If I now take this out, see, what I've just taken out was the final recording. This is the demo version now. So yeah. But this is sort of where it all takes place, with that view. As luck would have it, I'd met Slash a few months before we recorded at a Velvet Revolver gig, and I'd heard that he was interested in doing some different things and, just trying some different ideas, and, we just thought, well, let's give it a shot, let's ask him, see what he thinks, And he came over, he said, yeah, he was interested, he came over, watched the movie, and he called me the next day and said he'd listened to the demos, thought they were great, and thought it'd be interesting, and let's give it a shot,
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking rematch. Yeah, I'm doing this big fan fest thing down in Wilmington that weekend with Ring of Honor. I want to main event it with you two guys. Ram, Ayatollah 2.
For the Ayatollah match, it was, we had two cameras in the sense that we had one camera that came down with Mickey, came all the way down the ramp with him, followed him around. And then when he jumped into the ring, we had a second camera pick him up and kind of go through the entire speech all the way to the end, to the first attack from the Ayatollah. While the other camera, after leaving Mickey there, ran all the way, climbed the ladder, and photographed Marissa watching Mickey.
Action.
What are you doing? That's my move, and this is how it's done. Get off. 1, 2. Don't push on it through.
Oh, okay. Go with Mickey here?
Go down, Mickey.
No, yeah, go down with Mickey.
Here. Come on, man. Hit me. Hit me. Here.
Down, roll over. All right, roll over and get back. Good.
Here. Want me to go keep
out
this way?
No. I think you can stay over here. Right. Yeah, come over here. Go right over here.
Here.
Yep, keep going. Stop.
Point. Now sell this like you're really trying to run him in.
We want Ring of Honor. This is the climax of the film. This is the last scene of the film. So, this is right at the beginning of the match, okay? Later in the night, we're going to do all the pieces of the match. We're breaking it down into pieces. And the first piece we're doing is he's just finished that speech that the stunt double did. When I call action, if you guys can all just be clapping politely, because he just gave a heartfelt speech. And if anyone wants to cry, you can cry too, because it was very heartfelt, okay? It's his big speech, okay? And then when the Ayatollah attacks him, we boo, and then we're into it, okay? And I know you guys know what to do, all right? So we're going to do one take now. We're going to do a couple more, and then we're out of here, and we'll have some more wrestling. We go into section one, which is we pick it up. That shot starts with Ernest walking over to give Mickey a hug.
Right.
Okay. He gives him a hug, and then he
turns his back on him.
He turns his back on him. We go to Ernest. We go to Mickey. The attack happens. The lights flip off. They go into the corner. We are on that side of the line for the flip, and then that's where we cross the line.
So you actually win in the end. You live.
I think I won that. I think I should have picked him. He missed the headbutt. I should have.
That's true. I guess, yeah. You could, but you didn't. You were lazy. You just laid there.
Never gone through glass before. Tables, all the barricades. Never glass.
It's not sugar glass. Right, it's real glass. So these squibs have to trigger the break. Right. It's an explosive. They blow and start cracking the glass as they're landing.
Sounds good. Speed on it. Okay, boys, and 1, 2, 3, go!
Armand is wrapped, picture wrapped, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, let me tell you, a long time ago, I learned to make pain my friend.
Here we are. What's the date? March what? March 17th. March 17th. March 18th. The last day of principal photography of The Wrestler. And we have one more shot where Mickey Rourke pulls the barbed wire out of his open wound. And it's been quite an adventure, I'd say. We've all gotten to know and love the beautiful state of New Jersey, the Garden State. And we've all gotten to love staple guns. And we've all learned to love Mickey Rourke. And we've all learned to love each other.
That's it. Speed, tail stick.
That, and you, oh, it hurts, Mick. All right, get it out. Up to the face. Look up at him. Look at him. And there he comes.
Okay, so now let's one necro butcher done in picture again.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Oh, David again.
First shall be last, Mr. Mickey Rourke done in picture.
Thank goodness.
We really believed in it. We thought the world was fascinating. We thought Mickey was perfect for it. And I mean, if anything, all of this response afterwards is just a testament to, you know, just staying true to what really drives you and not worrying about like the superficial elements.
We were honest, or at least we thought we were honest to ourselves with the film that we were making, and it was a small, intimate character study, and a slice of life in this world. And we had no expectations that even if we nailed what we were trying to accomplish, that we would be where we are today.
You can't ever really give a shit about what people are going to think about it. You got to tell the stories you want to tell, and you got to make the films you want to make, and wondering what the audience is going to be and who's going to want to see it. You know, those are things you never know. If you think it's a good story, if it makes sense to you, if you've worked hard on it, if you've told the story to a lot of friends and they all think it's interesting and cool, then that's enough reason to keep going and doing it.
Gonna be a time's gonna come when I gotta quit wrestling, but brother, today ain't that day.